How's it going, everyone? Austin Honecker here. I just wanted to come on here for a while and give them a review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dark from last night, which was August 17th, 2021. I gotta say, it was awesome from start to finish. For the matches, match 1, it was 2.0, which are Matt Lee and Jeff Parker versus Siler Andrews and Sam Adams. That was a great match, but the ending to it, 2.0 went over cause Matt Lee pinned Siler Andrews by the 2 for the show from Matt Lee and Jeff Parker. Match 2, yeah, that was match 1, by the way. Match 2, it was Ty Conti versus Rebecca Scott. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Ty Conti went over with the DDT. Match 3, it was the Nightmare Family, which are Brock Anderson and Lee Johnson versus Joey Keys and Spencer Slade. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Brock Anderson and Lee Johnson went over cause Brock Anderson pinned Joey Keys with the DDT. Match 4, it was Matt Hardy versus Wheeler Yuda. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Matt Hardy went over with a shot in the head with his boot. Well, after the match, Chuck Taylor came into the ring and tried to interfere to help Wheeler Yuda, but after the match, Chuck Taylor came in to tend to Wheeler Yuda. Well, Private Party, which are Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy, came into the ring and started beating the shit out of Chuck Taylor and Wheeler Yuda while Matt Hardy was sitting there showboating and everything. And then Orange Cassidy came out and to the ring, and Matt Hardy tried to attack Orange Cassidy, but Orange Cassidy moved out of the way and executed the orange punch to Matt Hardy and laid him out, and Chuck Taylor and Wheeler Yuda threw Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy out of the ring. And so Matt Hardy and Private Party went backstage, and Chuck Taylor, Orange Cassidy, and Wheeler Yuta celebrated. That was cool. Okay. Match 5, it was Penelope Ford versus Masha Slamovic. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Penelope Ford went over with the Muda Lock. Well, after the match, Penelope Ford continued to attack Masha Slamovic, but Thunder Rosa came down to the ring and Penelope Ford retreated, so Thunder Rosa stood tall in the ring and Penelope Ford went on stage and so Thunder Rosa and Penelope Ford stared each other down, but Thunder Rosa was tending to Masha Slamovic and everything as well. That was cool. That was match 5, by the way. Match 6, it was Chris Statlander versus Kiera Hogan. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Chris Statlander went over with the Big Bang Theory. That was match 6, by the way. Match 7, it was the Death Triangle, which are Pac, Ray Phoenix, and Pena El Cerro Miedo versus Chaos Project, which are Luther and Serpentico, and Cole Carter. That was a great match, but the ending to it, the Death Triangle went over because Pena El Cerro Miedo pinned Cole Carter with the Fear Factor. Match 8, it was, yeah. Match 8, it was Nyla Rose versus Tina San Antonio. that was a squash match, but the ending to it, Nyla Rose went over with the Beast Bomb. Well, after the match, as Nyla Rose was in the ring, Vicky Guerrero came in the ring with a microphone and a Nyla Rose t-shirt. So Vicky Guerrero laid the Nyla Rose t-shirt on top of Tina San Antonio and then got the microphone. And Vicky Guerrero cut a promo saying that every week Nyla Rose has been destroying every woman and every Barbie that's coming her way. And we are putting all the women on the AEW roster on notice because Nyla Rose is going to be your AEW Women's Champion once again and everything. That was cool. Match 9, it was the Dark Order, Match 9, it was the Dark Order, which are John Silver, Alex Reynolds, and 10 versus Andrew Palace, Bill Collier, and RSP. That was a great match, but the ending to it, the Dark Order went over because 10 made Andrew Palace pass out to the full Nelson. That was match 9, by the way. Match 10, it was Frankie Kazarian versus Brandon Cutler. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Frankie Kazarian went over with the crossface chicken wing. That was match 10, by the way. Match 11, it was the Jurassic Express, which are Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, and the Varsity Blondes, which are Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison, versus the Wingmen, which are Ryan Nemeth, Peter Avalon, Cesar Bononi, and J.D. Drake. That was a great match, but the ending to it, the Jurassic Express and the Varsity Blondes went over because Jungle Boy made Ryan Nemeth tap out to the snare trap. And match 12, which was the main event, it was Dante Martin versus Lee Moriarty. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Dante Martin went over with the sunset flip. Now there were no promos or segments in this episode of AEW Dark. So, besides the matches, Taz and Excalibur done commentary throughout the whole show. They done awesome as usual. Ricky Starks done guest commentary along with Taz and Excalibur during the matches of Ty Conti versus Rebecca Scott, Penelope. Wait, hold on a minute. Taz and Excalibur done commentary throughout the whole show. They done awesome as usual. And wait, hold on a second. Taz and Excalibur done commentary throughout the whole show. They done awesome as usual. Ricky Starks done guest commentary along with Taz and Excalibur during the matches of Ty Conti versus Rebecca Scott, Chris Statlander versus Kiera Hogan, the Death Triangle versus Cole Carter and Chaos Project, Nyla Rose versus Tina San Antonio, Frankie Kazarian versus Brandon Cutler, the Jurassic Express and the Varsity Blondes versus the Wingmen, and Dante Martin versus Lee Moriarty. Ricky Starks done great on guest commentary. And Thunder Rosa done guest commentary along with Taz and Excalibur during the matches of Lee Johnson and Brock Anderson versus Joey Keys and Spencer Slade. and Penelope Ford versus Masha Slamovic. Thunder Rosa done great on guest commentary. The referees for the event were Mike Posey, Rick Knox, Paul Turner, Bryce Remsburg, and Aubrey Edwards. Okay. Bryce Remsburg refereed the match between 2.0 versus Siler Andrews and Sam Adams. Aubrey Edwards refereed the match between Ty Conti versus Rebecca Scott. Aubrey Edwards refereed the match between Brock Anderson and Lee Johnson versus Joey Keys and Spencer Slade. Bryce Remsburg, that was Aubrey Edwards, by the way. Bryce Remsburg refereed the match between Matt Hardy versus Wheeler Yuda. Paul Turner refereed the match between Penelope Ford versus Masha Slamovic. Mike Posey refereed the match between Chris Statlander versus Kiera Hogan. Rick Knox refereed the match between the Death Triangle versus Chaos Project and Cole Carter. Mike Posey, that was Rick Knox, by the way. Mike Posey refereed the match between Nyla Rose versus Tina San Antonio. Rick Knox refereed the match between the Dark Order versus Andrew Palace, Bill Collier, and RSP. That was Rick Knox, by the way. Rick Knox refereed the match between Frankie Kazarian versus Brandon Cutler. Aubrey Edwards refereed the match between the Jurassic Express and the Varsity Blondes versus the Wingmen. And Mike Posey refereed the match between Dante Martin versus Lee Moriarty. All the referees done awesome as usual. Okay. And the match card for tonight's episode of All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite, it's going to be the Young Bucks, which are Matt and Nick Jackson, versus the Jurassic Express, which are Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. For the AEW Tag Team titles, Sting and Darby Allin versus 2.0, which are Matt Lee and Jeff Parker, in a Texas Tornado Tag Team match. Chris Jericho versus MJF. The stipulation of that match is Chris Jericho cannot come out to Judas, and he cannot use the Judas effect. Shawn Spears versus Sammy Guevara. Plus, Sammy Guevara will have a major announcement after the match between Shawn Spears versus Sammy Guevara, and Thunder Rosa versus Penelope Ford. So the match card for tonight's episode of All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite looks like it's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing it. But like I said, I just wanted to come on here for a while and give them a review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dark from last night, which was August 17th, 2021. Like I said, it was awesome from start to finish. And with that being said, my name is Austin Honecker, and I will catch your ass down the road. Peace out.